Hello guys, I'm Spicy Bill. Welcome back to another episode of Gunpla Review. So today we'll be looking at the High Grade Universal Sentry HGUC Revive Gyan and the Premium Bandai variant of the Gyan, Premium Bandai High Grade Universal Sentry variant of the Gyan Krieger. So the Gyan Krieger is from the video game for the PlayStation called Gyan Krieger, and basically it's just a heavily modified Gyan. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Gyan Revive. So the Gyan Revive is actually one of the best kits that was released in 2016. One of the best ones, according to Sakura Realis. And to be honest with you, I agree with his assessment. This is actually a very, very good kit. At first, I didn't really care about the Gyan. I think this thing just looks super silly. And I was planning on getting this kit to only kit bash it. But over time, it kind of grew on me. In fact, I was contemplating on getting the Gyan Salad, and all the other Gyan variant. I just decided, maybe just one is enough. The Gyan Salad was kind of cool, the high grade build fighter Gyan Salad. I just thought like the whole, the beam mantle kind of thing, the cape, and that whole thing just looked very childish, very toyish. So I decided to just hold out until I saw this thing, the Premium Bandai solicitation for the Gyan Krieger, and boy, I did not regret getting the Gyan Krieger. This is actually super good. But first, let's talk about the Gyan. So obviously, the high grade Revive Gyan's got very good articulation. We even got toe articulation this time around. Double jointed knees. That's very good. Much improved from the old, very old HGUC Gyan. That kit is actually still pretty decent. It's just very lacking in articulation and the proportions. It's the very Kunio Okawara style articulation. Proportions. It's not really hold up in the modern day. It just look a little bit too chunky. Anyway, let's continue with the articulation on this guy. You have the universal joints for the hips, very nice, and you also got the pivot here. This is not like a pivot, it's more like a side to side. Yeah, front skirt you can lift up, and you can also articulate the butt flap, the back skirt. So you can put it in some very dynamic poses. Yeah, it's very interesting. This is a pretty fun kit, and it's for the most part pretty solid. You also have the ab crunch right there. The shoulders are very interesting. You can go perpendicular, even though it's this very strange looking ball joint thing. But it's the articulation is actually really good for the design, and you can also pop these parts off and attach other stuff to it if you like. There's a mounting point underneath these shoulder sections. Obviously, we got the bicep rotation, and we also got the double jointed elbows. Very nice. And for this hand, we have a hinge. Okay, like my biggest gripe is like these hands like to come apart very easily, but you can see there's a hinge right here. So you can have it do like the fencing pose right there. That's very nice. Okay, and the shield can flip forward. There's a very interesting gimmick here for the shield. You can get this whole section to flip forward, if I can get it to work. Okay, anyway, let me get this thing out first, so I can show you guys how this gimmick works. So yeah, so basically the shield fires missiles. So these are the missiles, and you can have it face forward. Unfortunately, you can't really do anything with the mono eye on this. This is a sticker, so yeah, I wish you can adjust the mono eye on something as obscure as the Gyan, but unfortunately you can't do that. there's a hinge on the neck, and the head can look up, can rotate that. I mean, yeah, I think the thing that really turned people off on the Gyan, it's just the fact that the head looks really, really silly. And I think they did a pretty good job on the Gyan Salat, making it look less of a joke. But still, it's the Gyan Salat is cool, but it's not as cool as the Gyan Krieger. So we're gonna talk about the Gyan Krieger very soon as I collapse the shield, putting it back into its original configuration. There we go. So that's that. Really nothing you can do with a backpack. The backpack's just there. It's like thrusters for a kid, so it can do like a boost jump kind of thing. Okay, so there we go. There's the Gyan, and the Gyan is actually made by the Zeon company, same company that make the Zuda and the Ifrit. So there we go. There's the Gyan, and here's the modified Gyan, the Gyan Krieger. The word Krieger is a German word for warrior, so it's a Gyan warrior. And yeah, I put quite a bit of decal on this one. I also painted in all the events and stuff like that to make it cooler. It's got these fuel tanks, and I guess this guy just designed for long-term deployment because it's got like fuel tanks that allows it to travel further, stuff like that. Okay, my biggest gripe is that this hand is very weak, and constantly you'll be like bumping this beam lands around, and then this thing comes up very easily. So this is like the biggest con of the Gyan Krieger. I think the best thing you can do is probably just glue the hand, because you won't be using any other hand options with this lens anyway, so you might as well just glue it in place so you don't have to deal with this kind of bullshit. It's very consistent. It falls out every freaking time, and it drives me freaking crazy every single time. But anyway, it's got a hinge right here for the hand, so you can poke somebody with the beam lance like that if you want to. The shield this time is very different. There's actually no prongs or anything that holds it in place. You just have to, just use the hand to position it, which is a little bit disappointing. But other than that, it's a pretty cool looking shield. You do have to paint in some of the details on here, and underneath there's 2 beam cannons, so you can fire, beam energy or projection at the enemy. It has the same inner frame as the Gyan, but every single piece of the armor, in fact all the external armor, is different from the Gyan. So it's not a retool of the Gyan other than the inner frame. Everything else is newly developed. So it's actually very nice, but it's got the same articulation, just a more heavily armored variant of the Gyan, and it's got the backpack. And again, this thing comes off. So you know what? I'm just not gonna deal with this. Yeah, I'm gonna put this regular hand back on here, and that's that. This time, it's got shoulder armor. So the shoulder armor is different from the regular Gyan. So this is a separate piece that you can articulate on top of that ball joint system. Go perpendicular. Again, still you cannot adjust the mono. The head does look a lot better, but still, some people still think this thing looks goofy. But either way, I really like the Gyan Krieger. This is definitely one of my favorite melee suits. In fact, I like all the Zeon melee suits, like the Goof, the Gyan, the Ifrit, even the Shuzrum Gallus. That's like basically just a modified version of a Gallus. But anyway, here we go. These are the Gyan and the Gyan Krieger. Let me know what you guys think about these guys. And yeah, if you get this kit, I definitely recommend that you glue in these, glue the hand, especially this pair of hand, to the beam lance. It's a royal pain in the butt to every time you bump this thing, you bump it on the top, you bump it on the bottom, the hand comes apart like that. It's outrageously annoying. And putting it back together, I mean, it's not that hard, but you know, it's very tedious if it constantly happens all the time on you. Yeah, it sucks. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about these two kits. Which one do you like better? And would you pay premium Bandai for the Gyan Krieger? Thanks for watching.